Welcome to the Keelhauled podcast. I'm your host, Captain Logan, and we've got a lot of Sea of Thieves news to cover today, so tie yourselves to the mast and hold fast. Ahoy there, pirates. I hope you had yourselves a good week and a good weekend. I know I did. This week, I have none other than the gold hoarders from the Keelhauled community. They are the patrons. They are supporting me, and we are joining them for a community episode. And with that, we're going to be talking about Season 4. We're going to be talking about Fury of the Damned, their feelings on it, their experiences, all that and more on this week's episode of Keelhauled Podcast. But before we get into that, I wanted to shout out the rest of the patrons who are still supporting me, even if they can't make it to the patron episode. Anyone in the Crow's Nest tier or higher gets called out each episode. So head over to patreon.com/Keelhauled podcast so you can help sign up, support the podcast. It really does help. Thank you to those who are out there who are supporting. And if you've been thinking about it, now is a great time to jump in and help support. So thank you to Chateau Neuf, Cloud, Cosmic Johnson, Davram TV, El Jefe Esteban, Trickster, Jabaro 5, Kazia the Rogue, Lumpy SRQ, Dub Dub Goose, Evil Morpheus, Michael X Zero, Xbox Mike 29, Munchie, Regis Stella, TN Professor, Big Bad Pad, Mina Fairy Super Pack, Fergatron, Skinny Matt, Straw Hat Connor, Windsor Chris, and Zam Wow. Thank you so much for your support each month. It means the world to me. I love calling out your names every time I see them. It just reassures me that you guys love me, and I love you back. So thank you. I don't want you to think you're paying for my love, though. That's a whole nother thing. Anyway, getting into this episode, I did want to shout out, I got an email. So thank you to those who are sending an email. You too can send an email over at captlogun@gmail.com. I will read said email out on the podcast and address it as best as I can. And I wanted to call out the actual listeners to get some feedback on this, because I'm very mixed on this question. So this one came in, and the listener who wrote it in, you should be able to tell whether this is your question or not. I only got the one, so thank you to the email. Hi, I've been listening to your podcast for a while now and have been trying to get into PC gaming. I was wondering, what PC do you have, and what would you recommend for Sea of Thieves? Thanks a lot. Also, is this a good PC for Sea of Thieves? And they linked a PC that's on Amazon. To answer your first question, first off, thanks for listening to the show. To answer your first question, I am running an Alienware system right now. It's a Dell system. It's an Alienware Aurora R9, I believe. It is an i7 core with 16 gigs of RAM, a 1080 NVIDIA graphics card, and 2 terabyte HDD with a a 200 gigabyte SSD. Yeah, just a standard SD. I don't have any NVMe systems or anything in there. It runs it fine. 2 monitors is kind of tough if I want to do streaming in Sea of Thieves. Most of my streaming is for easier games or games that I'm actually capturing from my consoles. When I play Sea of Thieves, I generally play at legendary or mythic settings, and that's typically at 1080 at 60 frames per second on my SSD. It's good. It's good enough. The frame rate is not consistent. I definitely don't have a really, really nice system, but it's able to play Sea of Thieves just fine. I'm curious for those that are listening, if you've been following the PC trends, or maybe this system that I'm going to list off the specs kind of coincides with maybe something that you're playing on. Maybe you can help me give some feedback to the listener to whether or not this would be a good system. Looking at this, this is a gaming PC. It is Kepler Systems, and it is got an i5 2500 series. It's clocked at 3.3 gigahertz. It's got 8 gigabytes of DDR3 RAM and a GeForce GTX 720 with 2 gigs of graphics. It's got a 500 gigabyte SSD and a 550 watt power supply. For the price, I don't think I would recommend this system. I think this system falls below where I would expect people who are trying to play Sea of Thieves. If this is where your budget is, then I would keep an eye out for other things. The thing that kind of strikes me is that the processor and the graphics card are pretty dated right now. I wouldn't go below a 1080 because right now a 1080 graphics card is still trying to keep up with Sea of Thieves if you want it to look nice and have a decent frame rate. Especially with PC gaming, you can spend $500 on an Xbox Series X and get 4K 60 frames per second on Sea of Thieves and have it be a really amazing experience. You're going to have a tough time getting that equivalent with the PC that you listed here. So again, for those that are listening, this is a i5 2500 series at 3.3 gigahertz, which is a pretty good speed for the CPU. Not gonna lie, I think mine's at 3 gigahertz. 8 gigs of RAM of DDR3. DDR3 is not as good as I think it used to be, and 8 gigs is definitely below where I would recommend it. I always shoot for at least 16 in any system that I pick up. If you can get more, great, but 8's definitely kind of pushing it. With the GTX 720, 2 gigabytes of RAM on the graphics card, I feel like that's pretty low. I don't know what mine has offhand, but I'm pretty sure it has at least 4 gigs of RAM on my graphics card. The SSD is going to be good, but you're going to fill that up pretty quickly, especially with how much as time goes on. For whatever reason, PCs just seem to accumulate junk, and you have to wipe it at some point. I know mine's overdue. My system is amazingly filled with junk. I need to wipe it and reinstall everything. Excuse me. So I as much as I would love to recommend this PC, I don't think that this is going to be a good bang for your buck. I would keep an eye out for something else. And if possible, I would recommend trying to look for something that maybe you can set up for a monthly payment system. I just bought an LG C1 2021 OLED TV, the 65 inch, the one that like everyone talks about, that everyone says is the most amazing TV. And I gotta say, it's, you know, after the warranty and savings, I think I paid a little over $1,700 for that just based on that, plus the actual warranty on it. It came in close to $2,000 for the TV. So I'm kind of curious too, people, if you're listening to this too. A lot of people say that it's really hard to get into PC gaming without spending a lot of money on a really good rig. And I'm going to be honest. Console gaming is inexpensive to get the system, but if you want the PC style experience, I think that you have to spend a lot of money on that TV, and I think that's where a lot of that hidden cost comes in, because most people generally associate the TV as the thing that you need to do other stuff as well. Similar to where like a PC, instead of spending money on the nice TV, you get a couple, you know, nice monitors. And you spend most of your money on the actual rig itself as opposed to just the actual TV. So weird conversation that I had with someone the other day. I thought I'd toss that in there. But if you're listening to this, I'd love to hear your feedback that I can give to the person who wrote in, so that they have some good feedback on that. Personally, I would hold off on picking this up, especially as we get closer and closer to Black Friday. Holiday sales are going to start kicking in already. We're seeing it as we speak. Stores are starting to release their Black Friday pricing earlier because they are trying to make sure that people have an opportunity to buy it and have it get shipped, and that they can replenish stock. And for the sake of the pandemic, that they aren't sending people to stores to be in close proximity to try and fight over technology and at really good prices. So keep an eye out for those kind of sales as well too. IGN typically has a daily deals site that they usually go on, and I would also recommend checking out Newegg, Tom's Hardware, some favorable sites out there. I think CNET still does some good reviews, but there's always a good YouTube videos out there that are kind of talking about getting the best bang for your buck and looking at systems that are possibly pre-built that have a good motherboard that you can actually upgrade the components in without having to worry about it. So you can kind of upgrade a lower base system over time, as opposed to having to spend a whole bunch of money right out the gate. It's been a while since I built a PC. Honestly, I think pre-builts are at the point now where companies know what customers want, and they're catering to that a lot better than they used to back in the early 2000s when we would just constantly build it. Now you're probably not going to get like a water-cooled system in a pre-built. If you can, that would be great, because it'd be a lot quieter, but I don't see that too often unless you're spending a lot of money from a specific shop. Other than that, I think I that's where I'm kind of curious, because the PC specs for Sea of Thieves that have been released have all been based on the base system, or the base game. We've had a lot of stuff happen in the game now, and I think it's just going to continue to grow to where we are running into the situation where, as the game develops and increases, and as they put it to newer consoles and systems and stuff, they're going to be adding things that are going to push the hardware even more. So I don't know that the minimum spec is going to be good enough even for like the cursed settings at a lower resolution. Maybe I'm wrong on that. I'd love to get some feedback from folks who can write in and tell me, so that I can help kind of relay that information if you have a better idea. Real quick before I get into the episode with everyone from the Gold Hoarder community, I did have a thought. I got some feedback from folks, both who reached out to me while I was playing, also from the Discord server. If you want to leave your feedback, the Discord server is a great place to do it. It'll timestamp things so I can kind of keep track of things. But there was a bit of a conversation that came up with me sailing a sloop and noticing a lot more wave drift as a result, and me kind of wondering if there's a correlation between the really weird encounters with megalodons biting and sending a ship to get flying, and me trying to keep a sloop straight, even when I account for the wave push that tends to come as you're sailing and you're going across the waves. You tend to get that wave to push you in the direction that the waves are going, and it's just being really, really strong lately. And I heard from a lot of you, more than just a couple of people, that a lot of you have started to notice, not only with the sloop, but with the brigantine and the galleon as well. It seems a lot harder to keep your ship straight, even if you're accounting for the veering. You keep a couple pegs to the right or to the left to account for that. It still tends to really veer off. And I'm wondering if this is like a bug that has just not gotten reported. I don't even know how to really replicate it. The only thing I can think of is just to record it and actually send, tweet the video of, a 2-minute sail of me like not touching the wheel, and just see how drastic it is on the map to where the waves are actually pushing it in a certain direction. So maybe you guys can help me out with this. Maybe you guys, if you get a good video of you noticing that the ship is just absolutely veering off course when it really, really should just be a slight shove from the waves, and not as bad as it is. Maybe you can help me out with that. I'd love to see some videos in the Discord posted to help kind of send maybe a forum post to Rare to kind of say like, hey, can you guys take a look at this, see what's going on? It doesn't seem normal. It seems off, and I can't put my thumb on it, but it definitely is something that other people are noticing as well too. So love you guys for that. Appreciate it. I'm really excited for you guys to listen to this episode. So thanks for hanging in there. It's already going long for me jabbering on about this stuff, but hopefully that's why you come to the podcast. I hope you all had a really good Halloween. I really, really do. Man, Sea of Thieves looks good on an OLED. It's ridiculously good. Holy crap. Let's go. Welcome everyone to the end of the month episode with the Gold Hoarders. These are the patrons who are supporting the podcast at the Captain tier. They're able to join in at the end of the month for the community episode. If you don't know, head over to patreon.com/Keelhauled podcast to learn more about how you can join in on these conversations. This week, I have the usual suspects, as Regis mentioned. Sans 1, we are missing El Jefe, but we have the usual cast: Mina Ferry, Regis, Stella, and Big Bad Pad joining in. Mina, how you doing?
Good, thank you.
Awesome, thank you. Regis, how are you?
Doing fine, Logan, as always.
Great. And Pad, how you been?
I'm good. Thank you very much.
Excellent. Well, I'm glad that you guys could join me today. We're recording this on the morning of Halloween for Regis, but the evening and afternoon of the 30th of October. Anyone have any fun plans for Halloween?
Sailing on the seas.
I got my nephew's birthday party later on.
Awesome. Well, I am waiting to see if kids actually show up tomorrow to do any trick-or-treating. I live in an apartment, so we typically don't, but you never know. And Pad, you brought up a real interesting point. This weekend is actually Golden Glory or what did they even call it? They called
Ghoul and Glory.
Ghoul and Glory weekend. So double gold, double reputation, which should impact the ledgers if I recall correctly. And I just found out thanks to Memesaurus Rex on Twitter that a ruby Listerine bottle on double gold weekend during Gold Rush with a grade 5 equals 60 grand. So maybe if you're lucky out there this weekend and you time things right, you can really capitalize if you run around and grab a bunch of these ruby breaths of the sea to be able to try and make some easy gold. Otherwise, you can just go grab one of the Ash and Lord skulls if you're doing the event this weekend and trying to catch up with that. Make sure you get those cannons and the blunderbuss and the tankard for the Wicked Web set. Those are like an easy 50 grand. How's everyone doing with this event? Pad, do you want to start off and give us an idea of how was the event for you? Did you enjoy this event?
I did. I was going to say sadly, I finished it yesterday. I did my last breath. I've got the 30 breath done. I've done Lorena's Voyage and everything else within it. I finished it yesterday. Took 2 weeks to get the main stuff done because we didn't want to jump into it for all in. So it's taken me months to get to this point. But loving it. I love the underwater bit. For the last probably week, I haven't actually gone underwater. So I've been the one up on top looking after the boat. But yes, it was absolutely beautiful down there. Enjoyed all the puzzles, and I'm definitely enjoying the gold from it.
That's awesome. Have you done many of the treasuries at all?
Yes. Not so much when we started, but in the last couple of weeks, because I play the game so much, it's quickly for me become not boring, but it's just another thing to go and do.
Yeah.
Which is there are so many things in this game to do that it just becomes one of a many thing to do.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Well, I'm glad that you got a chance to knock those all out. I know it was a lot harder after they hotfixed the Listerine bottle count for folks to be able to find those bottles and stuff like that. So I'm glad to hear that. Moving up the list, Regis, how was your experience with the season as well as the event so far?
Well, the season is really good because, obviously we always wanted to go down under the water for, I think, ever since the beginning of the game.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's really interesting. The shrines themselves, very, very individually different. Is very, very different. Treasury is really fun. They're just essentially underwater forts with sirens and ocean crawlers and, of course, skeletons. And the events, the Fury of the Damned event is pretty good because honestly I thought we're never going to beat the 150 million skeleton smashing event thing, but we did, which is surprising.
Yeah.
Yes, and I really did enjoy myself this season.
Awesome. Well, I'm glad to hear it. Mina, you've been hanging around with Pat, I would assume, most of your sailing, aside from the weekends. Or actually, no, I guess with Sightless, you guys are still running together. So how were you feeling about this season so far? The events, how's it been running for you?
It's gone really well. I still have a few more of the green bottles, the breaths to get. Because I was unable to play on Tuesday due to other commitments. So I think I'm only about 6 away, though.
Yeah.
5. But I'm enjoying it. I like the underwater areas. Some of the puzzles are really cool. There's 1 or 2 that I'm a bit over, but no, I've really enjoyed it.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Not all of them hit the same way. And it's nice when you get the ones that you really enjoy. I wanted to talk kind of about the Fury of the Dam because Regis, you brought up a good point. We managed to hit the community goal. We managed to smash 150 million skeletons, which seemed like quite a lofty number. But as the month went on, it seemed we managed to be able to get it in within the last 8 days. So everyone that I think it's still actually running till the 4th. So if you wanted the cosmetics for the figurehead with the Wicked Web set, all you have to do is just make sure that you kill 10 skeletons out in the world anywhere. It doesn't have to be any specific skeleton, can be any skeleton. And I really like that they kind of had a low barrier to entry for all of this. It means that you can log in for one day and manage to get these cosmetics just by heading out and killing a few skeletons here and there. So really nice that we managed to do that. Has anyone been sporting the Wicked Web figurehead at all? Have you guys seen it in person at all?
No, not really. I haven't had an opportunity to equip it yet, but I'll definitely try as soon as I get time.
Okay.
I think I put it on one night one night this week. I've put it on.
Gotcha. Yeah, I like it. I think it's nice. It's not something that I'm probably going to use too often, but it was definitely pretty cool to get like that kind of event. Cosmetic. Usually the figureheads are reserved for pretty big events and stuff like that. So Fury of the Damned is done. Has everyone managed to finish up and get the cannons for that? Mina, let's start with you.
Yes, I think I got those the other day.
Awesome. What did you guys usually do to work on those? Was there a specific type of skeleton or phantom, Ashen Lord thing like that you were working on to do that?
No, I think we were just kind of, if we saw a skelly ship, we would attack it. We were doing Order of Souls with Sightless, so that obviously helped a lot.
Oh, yeah, that can definitely. Running around doing Order of Souls missions is how I've mostly been doing mine. Regis, did you get yours finished up so far?
I think so. I mean, the only way that I know for sure that I got everything else was just grind lots and lots of Fort of the Dams on Alliance servers, guaranteed to get all the things, plus helping the event along, to be honest.
Right. And Pat, I assume that most of your time has been spent with sailing with Mina.
It certainly has. Yes, we've killed everything that's moved.
Players
or
and
at least tried
skellies.
to anyway. There is no differentiation.
Yeah. Awesome. So I was curious to kind of it seems like you guys had a really easy time. Regis, I know being on an Alliance server that kind of takes the thread away, makes it a little bit easier to get those achievements done. Mina and Pat, you guys on Adventure, you typically have to deal with other crews and stuff like that. Did you have much of a problem with this? Like, were you guys keeping track of it at all? Seems like you guys got through it fairly easily.
I think the first week there were a couple of instances where we had to move crews on or hurry them up while they were in there, because that's the first week or so we weren't killing everything we saw. Because obviously there were going to be lots of boats sat at the top of these swells doing the shrines and
I'm sorry. I was talking about the Fury of the Damned event, the Halloween event with the skeleton captains and stuff.
Oh, I don't think we've done anything different. I think we've just continued doing what we were doing. Like as Mina said, yes, if a skelly ship came up, we'd sink it anyway. So I don't think we've actually gone out of our way to do anything more, apart from on the Sunday streams with Sightless doing the Order of Souls only, really.
Gotcha. So to speak to kind of touch on and separate this a little bit. So as far as the shrines go, those have been pretty easy. You haven't really run up to too many crews on those?
No, I think we've been quite, I don't know whether it's been quite lucky or what, but if we've come up to one of the shrines, etc., with a ship already there, we tended to go over, before we've shot at them, to go over and see if there's anybody on the ship. If not, then we'll just ransack their resources. A couple of times we've actually gone over, then there have been people on the ship and we've actually spoken to them and said, look, have you been here long? Can you get out of the way? Because we want to do it. But it's the first couple of weeks we ran into more people, and recently very seldom do we actually run into anybody doing them. Yeah,
it seems like everyone's done them to death and have moved on from those, which is surprising to me considering how much easier it is to get that gold as opposed to having to go out and kill anything or steal it from someone. Things like that seems pretty quick and easy to me. So it seems like you guys have had a pretty easy time, which for me is contrary, because I've had a heck of a time trying to earn favor enough to be able to get all of the favors that I need for this event. And as such, I'm still working on mine. I think I still have about 300 favors that I need to do before I can actually finish up the event to get my cosmetics. So between that and ledgers, I've had a heck of a time trying to make sure that I get everything knocked out this month, if possible. Ahoy there, pirates. This is the ad for this episode, and I did want to let you know if you wanted to avoid these and just get a regular filler, you can head over to the Patreon. There's a special feed just for patrons that get the ad-free version. If you want to keep listening, though, I can't say I blame you, because this week I want to let you know about Loot Crate and getting 15% off of most crates and crate subscriptions when you use the link and code RobotsRadio in the show notes. Also, you can head over to audiobooks.com, get your first 3 audiobooks for free, and that can include any 2 VIP books, or use the affiliate link for Green Man Gaming. If you're a PC gamer or you'd like to save money on games, it's one of the benefits of being a PC gamer. Head over to Green Man Gaming. You can get codes for Steam, Epic, any of the different stores that they have deals going on. They have deals going on all the time, and if you plan on buying there, please consider using our affiliate link. All of that goes straight to me through the network. Thank you all so much for everything that you do to support this podcast. It means the world to me, and I continue to try and improve the quality and the content for you. With that, pirates, let's get back to the show. Looks like we have a new challenger arriving. Xbox Mike, hey, are you coming to chat with us?
I am currently trying to, but for some reason the sound is coming through on the wrong channel. So I'll be with you in a second.
Alrighty, no problem. Well, I figured if Mike can make his way in, we can jump into his experience with it and get some more feedback and stuff. Otherwise, we can head over to some of the other event conversation that I was looking forward to.
No, just carry on. I'll join you in a second.
Alrighty. Let's see. So one of the things that I wanted to jump into and get your guys' feedback on is what your favorite event is. We've had a lot of different events throughout the seas since the game began, depending on when you jumped in. So I wanted to see if you guys had an opportunity to talk about what your favorite event is and kind of what made it special for you. Mina, did you want to start us off?
I think I really enjoyed doing the Skelly ships when they first started. At that point, I was still mostly sailing with my family, and it was quite fun loading up a galleon with 4 of us and going off and fighting them together.
Nice. So that was kind of what actually made it special. Did you continue sailing with them into like the Devil's Roar event or any future events?
Yeah, the kids kind of started not playing as often. Probably after the Devil's Roar came in. Hubby lasted a bit longer, but fell off eventually as well.
Gotcha. So then I guess after that, you've been mostly sailing with folks from different communities?
Yes.
Okay. And then I guess we'll move into Regis. Regis, you've been sailing the seas for a while. You've been doing lots of events. Do you have a favorite event?
Hard to choose, to be honest, because they're so good. Well, most of them are anyway. There's some, less fortunate ones like Lost Treasures or, I have to say my favorite one. God, it's gonna be hard to choose, to be honest. I'll just say like most of the events in the CFEs, like my first one was like what Mina said, the Cursed Sails event, but ones that I enjoy the most was I don't know. I don't have a favorite. I just don't. I just enjoy all the events.
Okay. None that you were swayed to or really surprised you when it was introduced, anything like that?
I mean, the obvious one is obviously the Pirate's Life one, because that one's enjoyable. But yeah, I like all the events because I don't pick favorites like some.
Gotcha. And then Pad, I figured I'd check and see with you. Do you have a favorite event? And if so, what was it that made it special for you?
I do. And it's Glitterbeard. Whilst I know it's not a true event in the meaning of your meaning, for me, that was the pinnacle of rare and this game. I have got more screenshots of us doing that, not just as a community, but as random people meeting up on the seas, than I have of any other event in Sea of Thieves. Pirate's Life comes a close second. But as Regis said, there have been so many good events in this game that whilst it was hard to make the decision on what was my favourite, Glitterbeard came out on top by a long shot.
Yeah, I'd been thinking about the events, but all the events that I thought about were like content updates. I can't say that I had thought about Glitterbeard as an event, but if I were to think about some of the best memories that I've had in the game, yeah, Glitterbeard was up there, man. That was probably it was way more emotional than what's the tall tale called? Wild Rose, with George and Rose. Like that one was good, but yeah, Glitterbeard was definitely up there. That's I can't.
My Xbox screensaver page is of when we had the 3 galleons, and it was you, Kylia, and all that crew, all of ours, and all of Chenzo's crew.
Oh man, yeah, that was a really good night. Well, I can't name anything. I can't name one after that. It seems like I'm just I'm cheating, or I feel like you're cheating by listing that one. I have a really hard time picking like a specific event. I think I've had a really good time with a lot of the different events. If I had to go back and think about one that really was entertaining, I feel like I have to go back to the Bill Dread Adventures when we had the gunpowder skellies for the first time. And it was, this was back when we still had Aya Reach skeletons. This was back when the kegs, I think this was the update that gave kegs a fuse, and the skeletons carrying the kegs were fast. Anytime you heard the cackling, you would have to run. And even then you weren't guaranteed to be able to actually survive. And the whole event was just like blow up gunpowder skeletons in do chain reactions, and being able to do it on like having keg skeletons on forts was mayhem. It was absolutely mayhem, especially when you had to get the commendations to get it with another crew. Back before we had, or no, I guess it was shortly after we had alliances. And holy cow, yeah, that was a heck of experience. So I really loved that event. That event it was a small one, but it brought something really fundamentally different to the game, and had literally changed how we tend to play in Sea of Thieves after that event. So that was a great follow up to the Hungering one, and a good start for the Bill Dread Adventures.
I just had to mute myself because I was laughing so hard when you said about the skellies running up behind you. You had to drop whatever you were carrying and run to stay in front of them.
Oh yeah. I'm sad that they aren't fast anymore. I'll be honest. It's nice because it gives you that good lineup for a shot, if you're working on a fort. But man, when those guys were fast and you could just it was not a guarantee.
As soon as you heard it, you were running.
Yeah, you had to drop what you were doing because you were not going to get away otherwise. And that just led to so many different adventures. It was so much fun to just be like, oh my God, again, just leave me alone. So yeah. I really love that one. I want to check in with Xbox Mike because he's still working stuff out. So I'm going to unmute you because we were coming through for a little bit. But Mike, how's everything going?
Still having a few sound issues, but I can hear you fine. So if you're all right with me, how I sound now, I'm good to go.
Yeah, I think that works out. As long as you can hear us and we can hear you, that works out. So yeah. We've been chatting a little bit. You came in fashionably late, which I appreciate.
As always.
And we were talking about season 4 and season 4 events with the shrines and the treasuries and the Fury of the Damned. I want to get your feedback on this because from what I can tell, Mina and Pad and Regis all had a super easy time with the Fury of the Damned event with the favors and enjoyed the shrines. So I know that you don't always get to sail with them, that you have some friends that you sail with from time to time. But what's been your experience with season 4?
Yeah, I've really enjoyed it. It's been really good. I think this season, I think the more seasons we go in, the slower I'm trying to take getting the renown level up. So it's lasting a little bit longer. I'm not trying to sort of do it in the first week, which is nice because it's it sort of gives you something a bit more to do later on in the month, or later on in the season, I mean. So that's been nice. I've hit 100 already now, but usually I'd have done it quite quickly, but I think I only did it about a week and a half ago. So it's been nice to sort of just spin it out a bit longer. I've really enjoyed these mermaid, the treasuries. Actually, the treasuries more than the shrines. It's been nice to have something that's a bit more like the forts, but not quite as time consuming. Like you said, I sail with my mate Chris Stipe 83, sorry, on Xbox, and he usually only gets about, well, the both of us really only get best a couple of hours at night, and it's nice to be able to just be able to go and do one of the treasuries, because they only take sort of 40 minutes, and then
Yeah.
still have a bit of time to just sail around and just do a few odds and sods. Yeah, it's been really nice. I've really enjoyed it.
That's awesome.
The only thing we're struggling with, or we were struggling with until I sailed the other week with Paddy and Mina, a few others, was the event. I was really thinking I wasn't going to make it through and get all of the I forget what the last thing was. Is it the cannons? I think was the last thing.
Yeah.
For the hitting 2000.
So you actually were,
I can't think what it's called now. The Order of Souls.
The Wicked Web figurehead?
I've forgotten the name of it.
The Order of Souls cosmetics?
Yeah, that thing. It's the hitting 2000 anyway. I wasn't sure whether I was going to do it, but sailed the other week with Paddy and Mina, and we ended up doing a Fort of Fortune, followed straight away by a Fort of the Damned, and yeah, that just finished about 500, 600 points off for me in a night. So cheers for that, guys.
So that's been kind of my question. Is it seems like you guys are with a crew and things are pretty easy going for the most part. You've been working on Fort of Fortunes and Fort of the Dams and killing regular skeletons and ships and stuff. The main concern that I've had is predominantly for me, I've been running solo, and I've had a heck of a time because the few hours that I get at night when I'm playing, I don't feel comfortable solo to be able to like start up a Fort of the Damned. It's not something I am even going to try and mess around with. The amount of time it would take for me to kill Grey Morrow and the skeletons would be insane, and I'd probably lose everything shortly into it. So that's been kind of my main thing, is that there's a fair amount of like solo and duo players that are probably not going to be able to work out most of these Fort of Fortunes or a Fort of the Damned. I got fortunate the other day. I was running solo and a Fort of Fortune popped, and another solo sloop was sailing over there, and they had the Alliance flag up. I had the Alliance flag up, and they were on microphone. So I actually headed over there and was able to talk to them. And I was like, "Hey, I don't care about the loot really. I just want to get the commendations for in the event knocked out. So if you don't mind me just helping you do this, I won't mess with you." And he was fine with that, and he brought in another person from LFG, and that person started to, wearing traditional trucker or Tucker outfit, trying to the very dark pirate, try and hide as much as they can. Every once in a while, I'd notice like a chest of rage on my ship or a cannon being shot at my ship. And I kept telling the guy that was with me, I was like, "Look, I don't know who this guy is. I don't think you know who this guy is, but can you tell him to knock it off?" Because he wasn't in comms for me. He was in party chat with him. And he just wouldn't stop messing with my ship, trying to sink me before we finished up the thing. And I was like, "Look, we're doing this together. That was the agreement. I haven't been mean to you, and I haven't tried to be aggressive towards you guys, and you're cool with it. So can you talk to your buddy over there?" And it ended up working out. I got a couple pieces of loot out there, but that one Fort of Fortune did a lot more for my favor than all of the skeleton captains and skeleton ships and skulls and stuff that I'd been turning in for a while. One thing that I didn't realize early on was that the daily deeds give you a fair amount of renown, especially the quick and the big ones. So I was kind of bummed to not realize how, had I just been paying attention to the daily deeds, this probably would have been a lot easier. To kind of cap off the conversation that we were having though, Mike, I was curious if you had a favorite event that you'd done in the past, or one that you look fondly upon. We had talked about some of the other ones like Glitterbeard or Curse Sails. Regis didn't have one. He kind of likes them all. And I kind of like, the Gunpowder Skeletons. Did you have one that really stuck in your mind as something that you loved when it came out or surprised you?
Yeah, like Paddy said, the Glitterbeard event was something special. I really enjoyed the way that they kind of told the streamers and the YouTubers and everything to just try not to ruin this for everyone and let everyone discover it for themselves and go around and collect the journals and then do the glitter beard thing. That was something special. But as good as it was, and obviously, unique as it was, the curse sales, I think for me, was probably one of those moments where I realized how good this game could be, because it was quite an early event in the lifespan of the game. And I remember sailing around all in the same, all you had to all use the same ship design, and take on all these cursed galleons and stuff. And when we all finished, we all sailed back into, I think it was galleons, and we must have had like 4 or 5 galleons, something like that, all in one server.
Wow.
And every one of the ships was full, and we all ended up back on the outpost. And there was just so many people there, all doing so many different things, that it virtually crashed the server. But the frame rate just went awful. But even though it was running as bad as it was, we'd finished what we had to do, and then the shenanigans started, and there was people throwing vomit over each other, and there was people having, sword fights and things, and just loads of people. It was almost like a real town with living people in it. There was that many people there. It was so enjoyable. That was one of the first times for this game that I remember thinking, wow, this community is awesome. Even though there's always going to be that one person who wants to shoot you in the back, but it's a pirate town. It was almost like reenacting Tortuga on Pirates of the Caribbean. It was just that scene where there's people all just drinking, and and it was just such a good moment that I remember. I always think of that fondly. That's probably the one moment that I'll always remember in this game.
That's so cool. Yeah, those ship battles. They were the timing was always a pain, but man, that event was absolutely insane. Probably changed the landscape of ship battles for the years to come, honestly. Man, yeah, really good events. It's interesting to me that with a lot of the conversation that we're having, everything that we've kind of brought up, except for Glitterbeard, which understandably was more recent in 2020, everything took place during year one. So I guess my question, and I'll kind of kick it back to you, Mike. Everything in year one was really great. Why aren't our favorite events the ones that we've had most recently, Glitterbeard withstanding?
I don't know about anybody else, but I really used to look forward to those, because we used to get them, was it once a month, or was it once every month and a half, something like that? And there'd be a little bit of a tease. The one that I always remember was the first one, when we first saw that image of the Meg underneath the boat. And even to this day, I use that image on wallpapers on my phone and on the computer and stuff. And whenever I'm looking for something, I feel like changing my wallpaper and I can't think what I'm going to change it to. That image of the Meg, and you can just see like the ridges of the fins and the eye under the water, and the other one where it's coming up and about to bite the ship from underneath. Those teaser images that we used to get just before they'd announce what they were coming. I don't know whether it's me or whether it's other people feel like that, but it was nice to have kind of a, I don't know, it was like a big update, even though it wasn't really. If you think about the amount of stuff we get in these new updates now, there's a lot more in them than that. That was literally just a Meg. That was pretty much all there was. But
yeah,
I don't know, something about those early ones and the way they used to present them before they came out, I really enjoyed that. I don't think we get that quite as much these days.
No, you're right. A Pirate's Life was the last time we got a super big surprise that was actually kind of teased out before it was launched. Anniversary dropped without any warning, and can't think of anything that we've really gotten outside of that. Mina, you have any thoughts on why we seem to gravitate towards the events that happened in the first year and nothing that's really come since then?
I don't know. I think a lot of the stuff that's been iterated on in the more recent updates, they first appeared back at the start. The Meg, yes, it's a they're different Megs to what we fought the first time round, but it's just Megs. The Skelly ships, when they moved them from where they were, it's still really cool, but that was the first kind of, wow, this is something new and different. Don't get me wrong, I love all the tall tales, and when they came with Flameheart and his ghost ships, that was really cool. I don't know, maybe it's, I don't know if nostalgia is really a word, but I'm looking for, but
well,
yeah,
I don't think you're wrong. And sorry to cut in there, but I don't think you're wrong. I think you bring up a solid point. Most of the stuff that we've seen have all kind of taken nods from that first year, those original events. Those really kicked off what I thought would have been, really competent expansions to the world, and even to the point where they added an entire zone, which we eventually thought was going to be the case for everything, and turns out that we were going to get in different aspects. I want to skip over and grab Pad. Pad, any insights that you can think of that might clue us in as to why the more recent events haven't been as popular in your guys' mind? Is it just the nostalgia?
Is it because when the game first came out, all the naysayers were, this game's boring, there's nothing to do in it, and then obviously when the updates came, the first update, it doubled what there was to do in the world in terms of physical events to go and do. Again, you've got people on this podcast that are year one players, so we have experienced all of it. And if you were to have probably people who have come on in the last 2 years or even the last year, obviously they won't have experienced the initial year one stuff, but I guarantee the stuff that they pick would have been the stuff that was year one for them, because it's the most impactful in the fact that for us there was, I won't say nothing in the game, but there was a basic game, and then this basic game got an update, and then 3 months later it got another update, or 6 months later it got another update, and so within the first year the game more or less doubled really in size, and I think that's possibly why people remember the year one stuff more than they remember or go on about the first year stuff. Because once that's come into the game, then we expect that sort of upgrade in inverted commas every event and upgrade we get.
That's a really good point. I want to kick it to Regis, and Regis, I want to put a little bit of a spin on this question to you because, like you mentioned, you don't really have a favorite event. You tend to like all of them. After listening to everyone kind of speak to the ones that they like, has that changed for you? Do you have one that is a favorite, or do you still feel like you like them all equally?
I still like all the events, but the guys here brought up a good point that how year one is the most memorable one, like even nostalgia or just, Rare proving the naysayers wrong by dedicating their existence to CFEs, or their current existence to CFEs now. Yeah, I agree. It's just, my first event was not the Hungry Deep, to be honest, but whatever Cursed Sails, so I do tend towards for Cursed Sails and for my first year experience of CFEs. So yeah, that changed my mind. Thank you, guys.
I'm really curious because the more I think about it, the more I've noticed that all of us here have been playing in the first year. When it comes to games as a service, you tend to run into the diehards. And granted, I don't know how much more diehard you can be when you start making a podcast about one game. But I kind of wonder if this game lends itself so well to having such a long-standing fan base. And it's interesting to me. Like I can imagine that a lot of people that have jumped into the game now are kind of experiencing a much different game than what we grew with when the game was in its first year. But I hadn't really considered just how many folks still play the game after all this time, and it still is one of their main games. So I wonder if it's partially due to the style of game, if it's partially due to the people that they're playing with. Like Mike, did you have any insight on that? Maybe have an answer for why so many people have stuck around?
I'm notoriously bad for losing interest in things after about like once I've played a game through. That's it for me. You know, it's very rare unless a game's really good. I'll go back and maybe do the collectibles if there's like that sort of thing where you can go around and do the collectibles. But once I've 100% of the game, I'm not in it to go back and do it again. Just, you know, for the story. It doesn't bother me. But I genuinely thought when this game came out, it was great and I loved it for what it was. But in my head, I would have lost interest after I'd got Pirate Legend. That'd have been it for me. So I'm very surprised, and you know, so is even my wife has said, "You're still playing Sea of Thieves?" I'm like, yeah. But they keep updating it, and they do such a good job. I know my friend Chris at the time when this game came out, Skull and Crossbones was supposed to be coming, and at the time he thought he'd enjoy that more.
Yeah.
And would probably, you know, wouldn't have gone for Pirates of the Caribbean, sorry, for Sea of Thieves. But I got in on it. I had Game Pass before he did. And I got in on it, and I was like, "You have to play this game with me." And literally, I think it was day 2, he was in, and we were playing it. And yeah, it's I don't know. It's the Rare magic, isn't it? They do such a good job of keeping you in. Like, I had my doubts every time that something new gets announced that's coming. You know, I do think, oh, is that gonna make the game worse? You know, am I gonna get griefed by people?
Mm-hmm.
You know, like Firebombs. When Fire got announced, I remember thinking, oh, that's going to be a pain. I'm just going to constantly be set on fire. But it's not a problem at all. And after several updates of things, you know, getting announced that were coming, I thought, do you know what? I just trust them, because every time I've had my doubts, I've always been wrong. It just seems to make it work really well. And I'm surprised and glad that I'm still playing this game, because it's like some people have FIFA to go to on a regular basis. You know, that's their daily game, or you know, some people like NBA, or you know, usually sports games. You can just go in, pick it up, play a bit, put it down again, walk away. For me, it's Sea of Thieves. I can just pick it up, even if I'm on my own, just sail over. You know, go to a couple of islands, get a couple of captains, pick up some treasure, cash it back in, turn it off. You know, it's great. I love it.
Yeah, I can definitely appreciate that. Mina, you had a really awesome thing that you put in chat. I wanted to see if you could share that with us.
The fact that this game is as good as it is, I love the style of it. I love the premise behind it. That in itself makes it so I enjoy playing. But for me, it's the people. To start with, I was playing mainly with my kids and my husband. I have been through 1 or 2 different communities. For a bit, I was part of the Robin Hood community. Keelhauled has always been the main community that I've been with. And through Sea of Thieves and this community, I've met some really amazing people that I just love playing with and spending time with. And yeah, it's the people. The people are great.
You bring up a solid point there. I want to kick it over to Pat, because Pat, you had a really good idea. But before I do that, Regis, did you have any idea why pirates from day one are still sailing the seas?
Maybe, you know, earning back its trust after the whole problems that it had before Sea of Thieves, post Xbox acquisition, or it's I don't know. It's just maybe people now have a lot of faith in Rare that, you know, they can't do wrong, even with crossovers like with Pirates of the Caribbean. You know, I think we have a lot of trust in Rare that, yeah, we just have a lot of trust.
Very cool. Pat, I want to bring it back to you, because you mentioned something in chat. Do you mind kind of talking a bit more about this idea that you've got?
It's not really an idea. It's just, we were talking probably a couple of months ago. I think we had 2 crews going, and we were talking about obviously all the events that have been added, etc., and how much the game has changed since year 1. And a couple of us said, well, I wouldn't mind playing the game as it was released. And I think Regis put in chat something like World of Warcraft classic. But yeah, that, even if it's just like a week-long event where there is a separate server that you can go and see what it was like before everything got added. I think a lot of us who played year one probably don't remember it as it was. We probably polished it a little bit, but I think it might be a bit eye-opening to the newer players that are now playing Sea of Thieves to see what it was like when it first arrived.
Yeah, I'd be interested to see what they liked. I wouldn't be surprised if there were actually a few pirates out there that did actually play, didn't like how empty the world felt, and have since come back realizing that there's a lot more game now, and that now that it's fleshed out, there's a lot more interest in it, and a lot more things to do. And they probably skipped out on a fair amount of the actual growth of the game until more recently, especially with A Pirate's Life. This is the most popular the game has ever been. People are finally taking note of it. It's no longer relegated to the, oh well, it's good, but there's just not a real good catch in there. It's like State of Decay 2 or oh my gosh, I'm blanking on the one that always gets brought up when people talk about games that have had their reputation rectified with free updates. What is that?
No Man's Sky.
No, thank you. I knew someone was going to know it. Yeah, no longer do I hear people referring to Sea of Thieves as Rare's No Man's Sky. I only hear people talking positively about the experiences that they've had, or negatively about the bugs that are in the game. And you guys have made it really hard for me to talk about any of the bugs this episode. I wanted to kind of touch on your thoughts on those. But I guess I wanted to instead just kind of keep things positive. And I wanted to see, we're in season 4. We've got season 5 coming. We don't know anything about it. And I kind of want to leave it like that for a little while. Let Rare kind of tease out what they plan on doing. See if maybe there is something big coming. You never know. It's been it'll be close to 6 months since Pirate's Life. Who knows if they've got like a really big thing coming for us down the line. But as we've had 4 seasons, I want to ask each of you, and Mina, I'm gonna throw this onto you first. So think an answer if you can. What is your favorite season been so far, and what was it about that season that really kind of solidified it as the best one for you? So Mina, let's start off with you if you can. If not, I'll see if someone else has an answer ready.
Oh boy. I liked season 2 because I very much like the lore that they keep putting into Sea of Thieves, and that had a lot of lore. I mean, it had to do with Pirates of the Caribbean as well, but the way that they interacted with other things, like Wanda, I really enjoyed that. I would love more of that.
Yeah, I can definitely appreciate that. Regis, you're up next. What was your favorite season? Season 1, 2, 3, this one?
Obviously 3, because what else you got to top Pirates of the Caribbean with? Monkey Island, something like that. You never know. So yeah, just the whole, the fact that Pirates of that for a long time before we even got wind of this, or during the E3 announcement, we always knew there was similarities between Sea of Thieves and Pirates of the Caribbean, and we always well, not directly asked Rare, but just secretly in my mind saying, oh, would it be cool if we got like Sea of Thieves and Pirates of the Caribbean got a crossover? But it never happened because Disney's a big, massive studio, or Rare is just one of, at the time, 15 studios at Microsoft. But since E3 this year, we've got it. Both Pirates of the Caribbean and Sea of Thieves are now technically canon towards each other. Yeah, it's been amazing. And again, beforehand, I was like, when those runes came out, I was like, really, Rare, for simpletons like me, you can't just tease things like this. But then ever since I saw that thing, I was like, okay, I take everything back because I was wrong. Yeah,
I can definitely appreciate that. Moving down the list, had season 1, we got Renown, we got new cosmetics. Season 2, we got the Reapers versus the World event. Season 3, we got a Pirate's Life. Season 4, we got Sunken Kingdom. Is season 3 your favorite as well?
Yeah, sadly. I think everybody's going to answer season 3 because it brought the most to the game. And as Regis said, everybody knows Pirates of the Caribbean. Now they know Sea of Thieves.
That's true.
Yes, it's season 3 hands down. Whilst, like you say, 1 and 2 brought things to the game that we didn't have before, season 3 brought Pirates of the Caribbean. There is nothing going to top that.
All right.
Yet.
Okay. Well, you guys are making it hard for me to speak to the contrary. I'm holding out hope that Mike might have a slightly differing opinion, maybe. Mike, what do you...
Come on, Logan. You know that they put Monkey Islands in on season 3.
I know.
There was a Monkey Islands Easter egg in season 3. That was it. I was done at that point.
Oh man.
So when they add it in season 5, he'll change his mind.
There we go. Okay. Well, so I've been thinking about it, and I have to agree that season 3 probably brought some of the best content that we've seen in the game since probably Anniversary, I would say. Heart of Fire is a close follow-up, but I'm kind of leaning towards season 4. I think the Tall Tales are great, but I think season 4 with the Sunken Kingdoms, with the shrines and the treasuries, it added an aspect of the world that we've never had. With Fury of the Damned, it brought in some of the most amazing and theme-breaking cosmetics I've seen. The Sunken Kingdom cosmetics are amazing. The mermaid ones, not the coral ones. Sorry, let me clarify. But we got the Crimson Crypt set for the Emporium. Some of my favorite cosmetics. It was probably the best Emporium and event content that we've gotten that's tied together for a long time. Like, we got a whole full ship set. We had a community event. We were set on what we were going to be doing, and we still haven't figured out what the rest of the season is. So as much as I want to agree with you guys, I actually do agree with you guys. I think season 3 is probably the best, but I think a lot of that hinges on A Pirate's Life, because we had the mermaid event, not that great. We had the Plunder Games event, not that great. We had the what was it, the Mayhem event, not that great. So we've had like some events where they're just they like, the events themselves weren't that great, but the content of Pirates of the Caribbean was so good that we kind of looked past the rest of that season. But as a season overall, I feel like season 4 has finally kind of captured what a full season's worth of what like a season should be. You know, if I'm looking at it objectively and saying like, okay, what was the content that was brought in and what were the events to follow, I feel like season 4 is kind of there. Did I change anyone's mind, or are you guys still holding strong to season 3?
You're wrong.
You're seriously wrong, mate.
Okay.
I get where you're coming from. There is some great lore, and I do like a lot of the stuff they've added in season 4, but nothing's going to top Pirates of the Caribbean Monkey Islands for me.
That's fair. I definitely, I can't blame you guys in that case. Well, I wanted to kind of keep this as a tight episode. People are on a schedule, and I wanted to make sure that everyone got an opportunity to spend as much time on the seas this weekend, because as I wasn't able to talk about last week because we just didn't know, it is Golden Glory weekend. So I know you guys are probably eager to get back onto the seas, get some more gold, work on killing any skeletons or captains that you might need if you need to work out that event. And I have to go finish setting up my new TV so I can go see what the heck all this OLED talk is when it comes to Sea of Thieves. So before we head out, Mina, is there any place that you can send people if they want to go talk to you?
I am on Twitter and Discord.
I lost you a little bit on the end there. You said you were on Twitter and Discord?
Yeah, with the same username.
Okay. Regis, Stella, coming in. Where can people find you or your content?
Twitter, Discord. My friendship is magic. Yes, I know. Fiction website. There I write my CFEs, My Little Pony crossover fanfics. You know, the usual. I'll give you a link later on.
Thank you. Big Bad Pad, where can people find you or your content?
My content is on Twitch. I don't do a huge amount, but it's Spudhead Paddy, and Discord in Gold Hoarders and Keelhauled. I'm around there somewhere.
Awesome. And Xbox, Mike, 29, coming in. I know you got content. You're doing unboxings on YouTube. I know you're hanging out with Dutch. Where can people find you and your content?
Yeah, I'm obviously Xbox Mick29 on Twitter and YouTube and Twitch also, and then just Mick29 on the Xbox. So yeah, I've got hopefully gonna have some more unboxings soon. Plenty of new stuff coming out in the next month from Xbox. So yeah, it's gonna be a busy month, I think. November time. So yeah, look out for that. Thank you very much.
Oh yeah, I'm looking forward to the unboxings because I'm pretty sure you got one of those Halo Series X, right?
Yeah, may have got two, but yeah.
Oh, all right.
Yeah, accidentally.
Well, I know where to go if I need to get a console now. Okay, awesome. Well, I thank you guys. These are the Gold Hoarders. These are just a few of the Gold Hoarders. If you want to, like them, come onto the show, chat with us at the end of the month. There is patron information in the show notes. Just head over to the show notes for whatever podcatcher or YouTube that you're listening to this on, Spotify, whatever it may be. And yeah, head over there. You can take a look and see. It's not listed, but it is the $10 tier. And it's just one of those things where this isn't necessarily a promised thing, but it's something that I wanted to do just to kind of get the experiences of the people that are supporting the podcast, supporting CSEs, supporting the community. You guys mean a lot to me. And if it weren't for you, I wouldn't be able to have some of the easy goings of being able to make this podcast. So thank you for your support. It means the world. And I think that's going to do it. I'm going to have links in the show notes for everyone. And if people want to get a hold of you guys, otherwise join the Discord, come say hi. All right, pirates, that's going to do it for this episode of Keelhauled. Thank you to the community for stepping up and shouting out all the things that they were doing or the places that you can meet them. Thank you for having their conversation this evening. It was really great to talk to them about season 4. Next week, I'm hoping that we get some new guests. I scheduled out some times for some folks. I'm looking forward to talking to some different people in the community and outside of the community about Sea of Thieves in the coming weeks. So look forward to that. If you guys have any questions, comments, concerns, feel free to let me know. You can always send in your feedback or your questions, just like earlier in this episode, to my email for the podcast. That's captlogun@gmail.com. You can always reach me on Twitter at CAPT_LOGUN. You can always join the Discord server. There's links in the show notes that will take you to the Discord server. You can always chat with me there or privately through the DMs. Just let me know what you're thinking or how you feel about things, and if you want me to bring that up in there. And of course, if you have some extra cash laying around, which not many people do, but if you wanted to help support me, it means the world. Head over to patreon.com/Keelhauled podcast. The links are in the show notes. You can always use the affiliate links or the deals in the show notes for different groups that I have ads for. If you listen to any of the ads and thought about that, especially with the Christmas holiday coming up, you might have some gifts that you want to purchase for some folks. Check the show notes if there's any deals that might help you out there. Otherwise, just head over to Apple Podcasts, leave a review if you haven't already. The reviews help bring in different viewpoints to the podcast so people can get an idea of what the show's like from a unbiased, well, slightly biased perspective. And with that, pirates, I think that's going to do it. So thank you, I love you, and I look forward to sailing with you on the Sea of Thieves.
You've been listening to a Robots Radio podcast. Smart shows for interesting people. Check out all the shows at robotsradio.net.
Hey, I'm Tom.
And I'm Stuart.
And we're from the Dungeons & Dragons Lorecast.
We talk about all things connected to D&D lore.
And we're on the Robots Radio Network. So if you're into Dungeons & Dragons or you're into lore, then come check us out. You can find us on any podcatcher, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Play, wherever you get podcasts.
Roll more dice.
That's the Dungeons & Dragons Lorecast.
Hey, I'm Pylon.
And I'm Doc.
And if you've ever played an Elder Scrolls game, you've probably used UESP.net to help you find information about a quest, dive deeper into lore, or really learn anything about the Elder Scrolls.
But did you know we have a podcast too? Every week we bring you the latest in Elder Scrolls news, dig deeper into topics surrounding the game, and have a ton of fun while doing it.
You can find us on your favorite podcatcher by searching the unofficial Elder Scrolls podcast. Can't wait to see you all there.